Hey guys, this is Sean from All About Vapor, allaboutVapor.com. I'm here to talk to you about a new product from Vapro Supply, the IPV Mini. So the IPV Mini is a new product. If you're familiar with the IPV or the IPV2S, the IPV3, this is from the same company. Little different ergonomics on the IPV Mini than what you see on the box mods like the IPV3. So you have more of a tubular shape that is actually very hand friendly. If you're familiar with it, you might notice that ergonomics look very similar to either a ZNA or one of my favorite new devices on the market, the SX Mini. The size and general shape of the devices is actually very similar. The main differences that you're going to have on the IPV Mini versus some of the other devices is this is a 30-watt device. Runs off a single 18650, which is inserted through the bottom here. Just has a little cap on the bottom that unscrews, and your battery comes right in and out. Now, you do have on the IPV Mini a micro USB port that allows you to charge the battery without having to remove it, which is on the bottom here. Now, on the SX Mini, you'll notice that the micro USB port is on the front of it versus the bottom on the IPV Mini. I do wish they had moved the micro USB port to the side so that you could actually set the device flat on a table while it was charging. Unfortunately, with this, while you have it charging, you're going to have to lay it on its side, which hopefully doesn't lead to any issues with any leaking out of the tank. So be aware of that. On the side of it here, you'll notice that you have your power on button as well as your fire button, which it's just 3 clicks to turn the device on. You have your power and menu buttons here, which is just your up and down buttons. Now, one interesting little feature is you have 5 memory settings on the IPV Mini that allow you to go in and put a specific wattage that you want on there and then set that wattage to memory. So if you're using something like the new Aspire Atlantis, you can have maybe one setting for that. If you're going to put on, say, a K-Fun that's going to have a different wattage level on it, instead of having to actually go through and adjust the wattage up or down, you just one click to move to your next memory setting. Maybe say you go to a cardo tank after that, you can have a third memory setting and so on. So that's kind of a neat little feature for it. It does have kind of a Fat Daddy style top to it. Again, similarly styled to the SX Mini. And then kind of the little rounded area to it. Now you can see it does look just a smidge thinner than the SX Mini, and that might be a little bit of a optical illusion because of this nice little contour that they put on the SX Mini. I do like how the button is kind of rounded on the top. Your finger tends to fall very naturally at that position on the SX Mini. Not that having it flush mounted on the side here is any sort of a problem at all. It's just some of those minor little details that make the SX Mini a little bit nicer. You'll also notice that the IPV Mini is a little heavier than the SX Mini, which is interesting because what they have used for the casing on the IPV Mini is a pressed aluminum. So you have basically 2 sheets on here. You have this side of it that covers basically 3/4 of the device, and then you have just a little panel on this side of it that's held together with the screws, which I'm assuming accesses all the internals of the device, which I would not recommend disassembling. There should be no reason that you need to get into that portion of it. The device does feel very nice in the hand, and when I say it's heavier than the SX Mini, that's not to say that it is too heavy of a device, but it is heavier. But the device does feel nice and solid. The aluminum does feel a little cheaper than the composite material that you get on the SX Mini, but you have to keep in mind that the IPV Mini is quite a bit less expensive than the SX Mini. You know, you get a much nicer fit and finish, a lot nicer feel, and kind of all those little details on the SX Mini. But you pay for all that that attention to detail and that real nice fit and finish. So you're going to be looking at a retail price on the IPV Mini between maybe $60 to $70, which is going to place it solidly against the new MVP 20 watt. And that's going to be very stiff competition for the MVP. Me personally, I would get this device. It was a kind of a no-brainer versus the MVP. You get another 10 watts up to 30 watts on this device. A little nicer ergonomics than what the MVP is. Probably the only downside of this versus the MVP is the MVP does come with a very large milliamp hour battery, has the power output, so you can have the power backup supply on it. Although I have an MVP and I've never used that function on it, that is one of the minor differences. That being said, again, you know, with the ability to have a replaceable battery, you can put, Emran, for instance, has a brand new 2500 mAh 18650 that you can put in here, which will solidly put this at a great all-day vape. I have the Aspire Atlantis tank on here, which has the 0.5 ohm atomizer in there, and have it set at its full tilt boogie right now at 30 watts, and it vapes very nicely. It's a great vape. You know, you should have no problems running pretty much anything on it. Now, I did try and put an RBA on here earlier that is it runs about 0.2, and it did not seem that the IPV was registering on it. So if you're going to be trying to run real low sub-ohm coils on there, two things about that. You're probably going to have issues with it reading, and I'm not certain what the lowest reading that this can go on it at this time is, but the other part of that is it only goes to 30 watts, and a lot of times with real low sub-ohm coils, you're running it at a lot higher watts. So if you're wanting to run real low rebuildable, real low sub-ohm coils, then you're going to want a hotter vape than what 30 watts is going to allow. You're going to need to look at something more like the SX Mini, which will absolutely run anything that you can put on it. However, this particular setup here, the IPV Mini with the Aspire Atlantis tank on it, is a stellar setup. Easily a very nice all-day vape. As what I would consider an advanced vapor myself, I would have absolutely no problem using this device with this setup and being perfectly happy with this, running it all day. So that's the IPV Mini from Vapro Supply. Make sure you check them out at vaprosupply.com. They have lots and lots of new merchandise. This should be coming out here very shortly. The pre-orders should start here within the next week. Make sure that you check out their website and get on that pre-order. I think at a $60, $70 retail price, this is going to be a huge hit on the market, and I personally can't wait to get a hold of them. Again, this is Sean from All About Vapor. You can come find me at allaboutvapor.com. Thanks for sitting in with us.